With the release of the Epstein files, you'd think that would be a big enough news story of its own. However, what we're going to see today, of course, is a race grifter trying to take over the conversation and being put in his place by Scott Jennings. But before we get to these clips, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You ought to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you.
Of course, Mary Bruce is a very good reporter, and that answer from Trump, it's very reminiscent, Scott Jennings, of a lot of other moments of pressure for this president, where when he's feeling the heat, he takes it out on the media, and especially on female reporters, as we saw there. But why is he so angry when he just said the other day he wanted to release the files? Why not just celebrate what was about to happen, what did happen today?
Yeah, I think he's sick of being asked about it. I think he's sick of being accused by Democrats and a lot of people in the media of having had something to do with Epstein when he had nothing to do with Epstein. There's not a shred of evidence he ever did anything wrong. I think he's probably frustrated with some people in his own party for going along with all this. But look, they've decided to put it behind them today. Perfectly fine. We'll see what comes out in the files. I'll tell you what I think we're going to find out, though, that a heck of a lot more Democrats had more to do with Epstein than Donald Trump ever did.
Do you think you said the Republicans for going along with this? In some cases, it was the Republicans' idea. Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene. So, I mean, is it right or wrong that they decided to release the Epstein files? It seems like everybody in the Congress, except for one guy, thought it was right.
Well, that guy, Clay Higgins, actually made some interesting points about sort of upending the way we normally handle files like this. But look, it's fine. Transparency is good. The victims should get whatever they want out of this because they are the victims. I do wonder, I mean, they've now held press conferences. They've spoken to Massie. They've spoken to Ro Khanna. I wonder why they don't just go ahead and tell us the names that they have, or the congressman can tell us what they have heard, but I guess we'll see what happens in the days ahead.
I mean, I think we know why they're not doing that, and it's because they're under a great deal of pressure from all corners of the sort of Trump movement with real threats and threats of lawsuits. And I really don't think this is a Democrats versus Republicans versus Trump issue. This is a powerful men who did very bad things, and they're victims. And there's really only one side that, at least the way that I was raised, it makes sense to stand on. And I really have real questions for anybody who is trying to obfuscate or diminish what's actually going on here. And again, Scott, you keep saying, well, he didn't do anything. There's no indication of criminality. If that's true, he should be elated that we're putting these things out.
It's not if that's true. It is true. Can you name any evidence?
I would like to see the evidence. What I'm saying is...
You think after 10 years of public life, you wouldn't know it already?
No, I don't. No, that's exactly the point.
Oh, my goodness.
Scott,
this is an IQ test. Don't fail it. Come on, man.
Scott,
10 years Donald Trump has been in public life.
That's embarrassing.
Scott, it is an IQ test. I mean, for 10 years, we haven't heard any names. So you really think that no one's involved?
No, obviously. Larry Summers was involved. Stacey Plaskett was involved. There's all kinds of people involved with Jeffrey Epstein.
If someone was involved, we would know about it. They would be prosecuted. It would be done and dusted. The last 10 years, no one has been prosecuted for this. Is that a sign that nothing has happened?
No, absolutely not.
So then why are you saying that is the case for Trump?
My question directly to him is, if you think after 10 years, 3 presidential campaigns, and Democrats unleashing holy hell on him, you wouldn't know about it?
No, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Just real quick, I just want to bring it back to something that just happened. I feel like I just heard Scott call into question this black man's intelligence with the IQ test.
That's what
I feel like I heard that. And so I just want to say something. This is what it sounded like.
You want to make it racial, go ahead, but it's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I think that...
By the way, we know each other and we're friends. I know this man. He's a smart guy, and we're having a debate. We're having a debate. Don't make it into so. We don't even know each other, but we do.
This actually relates back to the topic that we're having, Scott. There is a you're sitting here with so much confidence without seeing all of the documents that Donald Trump is innocent. There is a presumption of guilt that a black man walks around the United States with, that I have been watching Donald Trump navigate this situation with the presumption of innocence that is never afforded to us, right? This is the same guy that is trailing 29 rape allegations. And we have videos of him saying things like, grab him by the you-know-what. Just the very fact that he's connected to the country's most egregious pedophile, that fact alone is enough for us to ask questions about if it's a disqualifying factor for leadership. So I just don't know why you're so fervent right now, saying that I know for a fact he has nothing. Can we see the files and make that decision? Scott?
Look, here's what I think. It's been going on for 10 years. If there was a shred of anything to know about Donald Trump, we would already know it. What do we know? We know. I'm
Absence
answering
of
your question.
evidence is not the evidence of absence.
We know that Donald Trump knew Jeffrey Epstein, and we know that he excommunicated him from Mar-a-Lago and his life. We also know that after Epstein was convicted, that powerful Democrats continued to stay in touch with Jeffrey Epstein. This is not a story about Trump. It is a story about powerful men. Many of them are in the Democratic Party. We're going to find that out. You can't wash away the politics.
We got to hit pause on this conversation.
Republican versus Democrat.
That's because every Democrat goes on TV and accuses Trump of having done
The only reason that any of these files, by the way, are being released is because of the MAGA base that basically tried to push for this for 4 years. Joe Biden released zero.
I actually totally agree. It is because of the MAGA base. It is the MAGA base that asked for it.
So what this all boils down to is that the Democrats thought they had Donald Trump on the Epstein files, all right? Obviously, he's trying to hide something, right? And I do believe, as I've said many times before, that this was Donald Trump's first misstep. He should have just said, you know what? I back releasing the Epstein files. Let's get them out there. And now, of course, he's actually doing it, and the Democrats are still complaining. And by the way, of course, all the information the Democrats have been leaking the last couple of weeks still haven't linked Donald Trump to Epstein in any nefarious way, okay? But what has come up is actually the connections between the Democrats and Epstein himself. But as Scott Jennings points out, this is simply an IQ test, all right? You had Biden's DOJ, Biden's FBI going after Donald Trump for anything and everything. So do you think they wouldn't have looked through all of these files and found his name if they could have? Of course they would have. And the simple fact that Donald Trump has been in the public spotlight for the last 10 years and nothing about him and Epstein has come out is basically foreshadowing that, yeah, there's not going to be anything in these files. And if there was, Donald Trump wouldn't be signing this bill in the first place. But guess what? It's happening, all right? And we'll all have to sit there with bated breath and see what's actually in it. But this, of course, is where it gets really delicious, because when Scott Jennings brings up the IQ test, then you have Joshua Doss jumping in and saying, I can't believe you'd make this racial attack against an intelligent black man. Don't you know that in this country, there's a stigma surrounding black people, that they're not intelligent? How dare you bring up IQ tests, all right? And Scott Jennings ain't having none of it. He says, I know this guy. I know Franklin Leonard. We're friends. We've debated many times. And you're making a racial component just to try to score political points on me when we're discussing the Epstein files? What the heck does one have to do with the other? And by the way, this is why no one cares about the racial attacks anymore. It's the boy who cried wolf. When everything out there has a racial component, when everything out there is a race grift, guess what? Nobody cares about it anymore. We put no credence in your opinion. So poor Joshua over here lost the argument before he even opened his mouth after bringing up the IQ test, okay? Because as he said also, Donald Trump has this presumption of innocence, but black men don't get that presumption of innocence. Yeah, have you not paid attention to media the last 10 years? News organizations and the police bend over backwards not to mention the race of people anymore when crimes are committed because they don't want to seem biased, etc. Okay, so don't sit here saying that black people now have this presumption of guilt when the entirety of the leftist mainstream media is going to bat for them. And by the way, we try to give everybody the presumption of innocence in this country. Does it always work? Of course not. Case in point, Donald Trump, right? Without any evidence whatsoever, they're all saying the worst possible things about him. And I'd say, hey, you should be the ones lawyering up, because you're the ones who are going to need it when Donald Trump gets litigious against you for defaming him. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description, where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.